December 2005. Just off the Farallon Islands, a crew of divers finds a humpback whale wrapped in over 200 meters of crab trap line, ropes cutting into her tail, her back, her mouth. She is exhausted, and she is sinking. To free her, a diver has to press his body against hers and cut for a full hour. One flick of that tail could kill him instantly, but for one entire hour, the whale does not move. And then the last rope falls away. She doesn't flee, she turns. She swims back to each diver, one by one, and gently nudges them. To this animal, we are the most dangerous predator this planet has ever produced. So why did she let us close? And why did it feel like a thank you?
Every wild animal on Earth carries the same piece of software in its brain, a threat classification system. It works in 12 milliseconds, faster than conscious thought. A shape appears, the amygdala fires. Run, hide, or fight. And in that system, one silhouette sits at the very top of the danger list: ours. Animals that have never met a human still fear us. Studies across 4 continents show the same thing. Wildlife responds more strongly to the sound of a human voice than to the sound of lions. We are, biologically speaking, the scariest thing that has ever walked this planet. Which makes the field reports very hard to explain. A young deer stuck at a garden fence waits for people to come out. A wild crow lands on a city street, steps toward a stranger, and waits. And on the savannah, animals with poacher's wire snares cutting into their legs walk toward the ranger stations, on purpose. These animals aren't confused. Their threat system is running perfectly. It's doing something much stranger than failing. It's surrendering.
Scientists used to have a neat label for this: learned helplessness. The animal gives up. The lights are on, nobody's home. But that's not what the data shows. A trapped animal approaching a human is not shutting down. It's switching circuits from fight or flight to something biologists call tend and befriend. Cortisol drops, oxytocin rises. The body makes a calculated bet. This predator might be my only way out. In January 2013, off the coast of Hawaii, that bet was caught on camera. A bottlenose dolphin swam into a group of night divers with a fish hook buried in its fin and fishing line wrapped around its body. It didn't circle, it didn't flee. It swam straight to the diver with the light, stopped, and rolled its body toward him, presenting the hook. For 8 minutes, it held almost still while a stranger from another species performed surgery on it. The dolphin didn't just tolerate help, it showed the human where it hurt. That's not a reflex. That's a request.
Which raises the real question: how does a wild animal know which human to ask?
Because they are reading us, constantly. Farm goats do something scientists thought only dogs could do. When a goat can't solve a problem, it turns and looks at the nearest human, at the problem, back at the human. It's asking. Crows go further. They memorize individual human faces and keep that file for over 4 years. And elephants may be the most precise of all. In Kenya, wild elephants tell human tribes apart by voice alone. Recordings of Maasai men, who sometimes clash with them, trigger instant retreat. The voices of Kamba farmers are calmly ignored. So a wild animal doesn't see a human, it sees a specific creature with a file attached. But there's one more piece, and it's the strangest one. How does an animal that has never been rescued know that we can rescue it? Nothing else in the forest can untie a knot. Nothing in the ocean can cut a rope.
but animals watch us. They see us open containers, move obstacles, operate machines that roar and glide. They see the one thing no other creature on Earth possesses: hands. Some researchers believe wild animals form a rough but powerful generalization. These creatures change things. What is stuck, they can free. What is closed, they can open. A wild deer tangled in a rope holds almost still while two men work the knots off its antlers. It has no framework for human hands, but it has watched enough to make the inference. If that's true, if animals in crisis are actually reasoning about our abilities, then the whale story stops being a heartwarming anecdote. It becomes evidence of something we're only beginning to measure. Animals may understand us far better than we understand them.
Which brings us back to the Farallon Islands. The divers cut the last rope at sunset. The whale was free. Every wild animal textbook says the same thing happens next. The animal leaves. Instantly. Distance is safety. She didn't. She circled back. She approached each diver in turn, 30 tons, moving with surgical gentleness, and pressed her rostrum against each of them, one by one. Then she dove. James Mosquito, one of those divers, said it felt, quote, like she was thanking us. Science can explain the freeze. It can explain the request. It cannot yet explain the return. Dolphins that come back to visit their rescuers years later, ravens that leave small shiny objects for people who feed them, whales that seek out the boats that freed them. Maybe it's conditioning, maybe it's curiosity, or maybe, after a million years of running from us, they still believe we might say yes. An animal asked a human for help, and a human said yes. That's the whole story, and it happens every single day somewhere on this planet. If this changed how you see wild animals, send it to someone who still thinks they're just instinct machines. Has a wild animal ever come to you for help? Tell the story in the comments. We read every one. One hidden mechanism of nature every day. Subscribe.